Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. Yes, we really, really are, aren't we now? We're on that quest together, folks. Well, friends, welcome to another episode, number 88 of the series here, the Full Disclosure shows. And I'm going to go and share this on out because I can tell I'm the only one watching right now. So if you want more people to see it, I got to share it. And as long as Facebook is still working, and that's I was kicked off of Twitter, so that's what I got. All right. We are live. Oh, yeah. Join us. Join us, won't you? Yeah, putting out the invite, baby. How do you like that? Dark Brain. Lucky number 1. Okay, I'll be number 2. Okay, hopefully that doesn't have a double meaning. All right, glad to see you here, Dark Brain. And I just shared this out to my Facebook squad. I know a lot of people don't like Facebook. And, I don't really even have that many friends. I have a lot of friend requests, but every time I look at the person, they don't seem like a real person, So they might be real people. I don't know. But they don't seem real. So I got hundreds of people just sitting there. Who knows? Might be real people that could join the fun here. So we'll just share this out to my page too. And we'll do it like that. Well, it's a nice evening here. It was raining all day. I got the dogs inside, so hopefully they don't bark. Yeah, I hope that it all gets squared away. It looks like Jenny McCarthy is interviewing Corey Good again, and that's awesome. And I think that means that pretty soon he'll be on this channel as well. Hopefully, I've been in contact with his people, and so we're crossing our fingers. There's a lot of stuff going on over there. He's got all these. He was taking on these tours and given briefings. Some crazy information that we've shared here, and it's all pretty fantastical. And again, there's lots of people claiming to be secret space program whistleblowers. However, hello, Catherine Weiss. Hello, Jerry. Corey Good said quite a long time ago already now that when he came forward on the show Cosmic Disclosure with David Wilcock and started dropping all this amazing information, he had been dropping it on boards before that under a pseudonym. But when he started telling the story with David Wilcock on Cosmic Disclosure on Gaiam and then Gaia, changed the name, he had stated that the names that he's given to these various different elements of the secret space program are not the names that were used in the programs, like for the Dark Fleet. Okay, it's this mysterious kind of dark element of the secret space program, kind of its own little wing. And Corey calls it the Dark Fleet. So now anyone who comes out and says, oh yeah, I was part of the Dark Fleet, that's a big red flag right there, because that really wasn't the real name of it. And as Corey has said, no one has come forward so far of the current batch that have passed even the most basic um, tests that they're telling the truth. So, Secret Squirrel. Yeah, 1960s cartoon. Love it. Love that stuff. I remember Rocky and Bullwinkle. Very fun stuff. Yeah, Jenny McCarthy's awesome. And she's a big fan of Corey Goods. And she asks really good questions. I think they're going to be doing a lot of shows together and even a combined show possibly. And so looking forward to helping him put the word out on that. A dark brain owns the Dark Fleet. Hi, Abby. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome to everybody here. And I got to thank Catherine Weiss for her generous super chat yesterday. And it's really is the super chats that keep this thing rolling, because the subject matter we're dealing with here, the channel doesn't make, not very much money at all, pennies. So the super chats are very, very appreciated and essential, actually. So thank you so much. I wonder if you all heard about this book. Now, this book is Clifford Stone, Eyes Only. Now, this is a really unique book, forward by Robert Salas, introduction interviews by Paola Laposi Harris. Now, I did interview her, Paola Harris, but Clifford Stone didn't have a book, so she went ahead and she compiled these interviews she had with him. And now, then he had a book. I think he has had more than this book. This was his first one. But yeah, that was a sweet thing for her to do. Yeah. And his story is very, very interesting if you're aware of it. He was part of the crash retrieval units in the Army. I mean, he couldn't even pass the physical, but they let him in because he had this alien connection. He had already had, contact with aliens. I believe he said a purple being, not green, not gray. Purple, I believe. Very interesting. But he used to go on these crash retrievals, and his testimony, we lost him just recently, is so sad. But he was one of the real guys. And, he'd tear up talking about this stuff because, you come to a crash site and there's a lot of times not a lot of life there. And it's very sad. And he would tear up talking about it. So he was a really sweet man, a very important person in the disclosure movement. And so, yeah, honor his memory. Let's delve into him and his story and find out what we can. And I'd like to have Paola Harris on too. I interviewed her on my previous show many years ago on Blog Talk Radio on the UFO show. But we got a new show now, so we got to do it all over again. So there you are. All righty. We're off to a grand start here, aren't we? So let's go ahead and share a picture, if that's all right with you. First of all, I think a little bit of news, maybe. How about a little news article? Would you like a little news? How's this grab you? As you know, Southwest Airlines is experiencing, let's just say, a little bit of trouble. But then I saw this article and maybe they're turning it around. Take a look at this. Oh yeah, weird. Many Southwest planes flying banners reading, "Let's go Brandon." Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That's so interesting. So file this away in the weird but true folder. Many Southwest Airlines pilots are flying banners behind their jets with a cryptic message, "Let's go, Brandon." Strange. Many are speculating about what this could mean. I think we know what it means. Something, it's just an encouraging message for any Southwest passengers named Brandon, while others believe Southwest is just making a little extra money by advertising with banners behind their planes. Perhaps Brandon's mom bought out the first bit of ad space. Yeah, I think we know the real. Yes, yeah, it might not be true because we haven't seen it on CNN yet. See, because they're not admitting to the real reason. See, whatever the case, we can be assured has nothing to do with Southwest pilots, air traffic controllers, or any other members of their labor force. They're not on strike against any mandates or anything like that. That can't possibly be true because we haven't seen it on CNN yet. Anyway, good for Southwest. And good for Brandon. Go, Brandon! I love the Babylonian Bee. You gotta love it. But you know what? They're actually censoring humor. They're censoring that site. And it's really sad. Humor should never be censored. You know, every president deals with the humor, political cartoonists and whatnot. So you can't shut that down. You can't do that. So there you go. And there you have it. How do you like that? How do you like that? Oh, okay. Dark Brain says, Aaron, I got a text from Trump campaign today. They're selling Let's Go Brandon shirts in the Trump store now. You may have started something. Yeah, well, I wish they would sell my shirt in there. That would be great. Yeah, Let's Go Brandon. I just love that because it's so innocent sounding, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Alrighty then. So that was interesting. Now, on to the next item, shall we? I was really excited when we sent a probe out to the asteroid belt, and it studied two asteroids. The second one it studied was Ceres. Okay, look at this. I don't know. To me, this looks like a lit up base, some kind of installation here. It does not look natural very much at all to me. It looks very organized. And probably mostly underground, the base, but some of it on top. And look, you got these straight things here. I mean, there's just, it looks, I don't know, to me. And there's a lot of mud on that planet and a lot of water underneath the surface. So there's a lot of mud, a lot of water, a lot of chance for life. And I know that there's a secret space program whistleblower, alleged whistleblower, who claims to have been stationed on Ceres. I don't know. I'm not sure about that testimony, but I think there probably certainly could be. So who knows, right? It certainly does look very interesting to me. Well, let's do a little adjustment on here. Try to see if you just bring out, add the contrast. Look at that. It's really bright. I mean, it's unless it's spewing chrome or something, I don't know. I just think it looks like something to me. I don't know. And just the idea, because it's round, it's like a planetoid. So I think it might have been like one of the former moons of Maldek or Tiamat, the super Earth that is now the asteroid belt. So that's Ceres, and the main spot. There's other spots on it that are very interesting, but this is very intriguing. And I remember as the probe was getting closer to Ceres, I was really excited because before they got there with this, it was the picture of it, and there's even a picture from Hubble of Ceres, and it looks like a little mini Earth. It has like brown, like almost bluish parts, if I'm remembering correctly. So I was really excited. And then what we get black and white pictures. What is this? I think this is a black and white picture, right? I mean, I'll pump up the color. There's absolutely no color in this. So why are they giving us black and white pictures? I mean, I don't know. It's very suspicious. I think if it was color, we'd see, maybe something that we're not supposed to see. I don't know. What do you guys think? The underground with the higher part too. Yes, I agree with you, Abby. Hubble, Chelsea's dad. Yeah. I think, was that guy's name Hubble too? Not the same Hubble, was it? I don't think so. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. Oh, let's see here. What are we gonna look at now? Okay. How about a meme? In the mood for a meme? This isn't exactly a new one, but I like it. You keep saying that me not wearing a mask is killing you. It's been months. How much longer will it take? It's going to be years now, pretty soon. It's ridiculous how far they've taken this. It's just, they're really pushing it. No one's ever going to believe him again, ever, ever, ever. It's like, nope, sorry. It's a Aesop's fable story, The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Okay. So maybe when a non-plandemic happens and a real one happens, it's like no one's going to believe it because they've been duped, like beaten up by the duping. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Yes, meme. Yeah, memes. Memes are going to change the world. That's how we're going to change the world, friends, through memes. So share them, make them, share them, spread them around, because that's how we change the world, through memes. Meme magic. Oh yeah, Electric Universe guys would say it was a plasma discharge anomaly. Looks like a base to me. Yeah, right. It sure does look like a base. And NASA's really good at airbrushing, so there might have been some even more telltale proof there in those photos, but then they were covered up, possibly. Yeah, does your face hurt? It's killing me. Yeah, you keep saying that me not wearing a mask is killing you. It's been months. How much longer will it take? Yeah, I think Gene Wilder memes are like golden. It's like awesome. He's got that expression that fits with any words you put there. I mean, Don't you think? He's one of the kings of memes. DiCaprio's got quite a few too with that kind of thing. Ready to burst out in laughter. Look, he's got so funny. So eternally funny. If it wasn't for memes, we would all have like gone crazy by now, you know? Gone crazy. Here's a car I wish they would have built. Have any of you ever seen this? And there's real no chance that they're going to build it now because they don't make Pontiacs anymore. This was the Pontiac Banshee. And I thought this thing was so cool. If they would have made this, you know, probably would have saved Pontiac, you know, along with the Firebird. I think this is a beautiful car. Just gorgeous. Very nice design. Beautiful car. You know, why don't all cars look like that? You know, they could. All cars could look really cool. They're starting to sort of look cool. There's a lot of ugly ones out there. So yeah, there you are. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Looks like a kit car. Yeah, it's a one-of-a-kind prototype. So yeah, sometimes those prototypes do look like kit cars. All right, we're gonna put the old Zoom call over there. And if you want to call in, you may feel free to do so. And there you go. Oh, there's let me see. Can I edit this? Nope, I can't edit it. Yeah, at the end of that passcode, after the 5-0, that's the last. The next O is the capital O for one tap. I don't know why that does that every time. Sorry about that. I don't have the magic that Dark Brain and Mud Rabbit have. They're good at posting stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's a very cool car. There's so many really cool cars that they've built for shows, but they never made them. The very coolest cars they've ever done have never been made. You made one of them maybe, you know. So it's fun to look at some of those old cars. You know, what they thought the future cars would look like. What I don't like are those boxy looking cars. I like sleek looking cars. Very sleek. Very, very sleek. The ships that were designed by William Tompkins that are flying around in our solar system and a 12-star cluster or 52-star cluster and even beyond. They've got tons of these gigantic, kilometers long spacecraft carriers, like an aircraft carrier, but in space. I think the loading dock is back here where they all kind of go in, and they had like triangle shaped craft and they had square shaped craft. Yeah, from his sketches, I just went from his sketch and I made this in the Inkscape. And this picture of Jupiter is courtesy of NASA. And they got that some of those beautiful close-up pictures of the most gorgeous planet in our solar system, I think, visually, Jupiter. Look, this looks like a little E here, doesn't it? Like a like a handwritten E. Probably find lots of messages in these clouds. And remember, folks, in these clouds, that's where, according to Corey, they found these plasma life forms in the no toasters with wheels. Yeah. I like sleek looking cars. That's just me. And this is a cool looking spaceship too, designed by William Tompkins. And that was so nice that when he came forward with all of his information, all of his sketches, and all of his information, all that he'd been involved in. And then when he met Corey Good, and Corey Good told him, I've seen those ships. They're out there. And because they never told William that they made the ships that he designed back in the 50s and the 60s. They never told him that they made them. But so there it is. I think that's a nice thing to know, that something that you designed that long ago is actually out there in space. And oh, you got your time. It takes approximately 60 seconds. Yes. The time machine. Yes. And there's still just one left. So maybe I'll just end up keeping it. Oh, Abby says, I saw a bumper sticker that said, you have just been passed by a toaster. That's funny. It must have been one of those square cars. Hey, Terry, how's it going? That's awesome. I'm glad that you got it. Yeah, I got to check my P.O. box again. It's been a while since I've checked it. I better check it. Yeah, stuff gets piled in there. Yeah, so that's the one of the many ships that William Tompkins designed. Not only did he design ships that were built and deployed in the 1980s under the Solar Warden program, like this one right here you're seeing, and all the little craft beside it. He also was instrumental in helping to get us to the moon. And he designed the way we make the rockets. He designed the building that the rockets are made in, and he designed the room where all the scientists saw everything. So he really had a lot to do with getting us to the moon. So very cool. And so it seems like they got to the moon, and then they kind of like phased him out of don't tell him what we're doing with the stuff he designed. He doesn't need to know. Maybe they didn't even think about it. Oh, you're in the waiting room. I'm sorry. I got to check that. There it is. It's Mr. Dark Brain. Oh, look at that. Nice little frog. He's zenning out. Love it. Very cool frog. And he's connecting his audio. And this will be nice. It's always a treat, Dark Brain. Mr. Brain, how you doing?
Good. How are you tonight, Aaron?
If I was doing any better, I'd be you.
Haha.
True story. I like that frog. I like that frog you got there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Zen Frog. It kind of sums up my feeling most times.
Yeah. So what did you think of the time machine? You got one of those, didn't you?
I did. I've been experimenting with it. It's pretty fun.
Don't get too carried away. And I know it, I find myself for hours at a time working on this, getting further and further in the future. When I was a kid, I always wanted to see the future. So that's why this is kind of fun. Of course, it's a dad joke in physical form. So
I'm sure I'll be sharing it around a little bit. I've got a few people I'll hand it to and see what they think.
they'll think that guy's crazy.
It'll get a chuckle.
Yeah, yeah. For now, that's what we'll have to deal with. But what's interesting? Andrew said that one time when he was in the program, he and a bunch of other kids, or a couple other kids, were brought into this room. This man, he took 3 like crystals or something and arranged them on his desktop, and then in the center of those 3 crystals was a mini holographic image of what they just did 10 minutes ago in that room, like a recording that he accessed through these crystals. Very fascinating.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting story, and it was like I don't know, was it crystals? I remember him saying he also used like just a beaker and some glassware.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. You're right. Just certain types of glass. That's bizarre. You're right.
It is bizarre.
Yeah. So what's new with you?
What's new? I had a pretty good day today.
Yeah.
I got some stuff cleaned out. I cleaned out or in the process of cleaning out a couple laboratories. Anyway, I was able to scrounge some stuff destined for the garbage.
Oh.
So that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I got a couple big old blocks, or one big block and a few small blocks of hard lead.
Whoa.
Casting. You cast bullets with them. But I mean, it's probably the big one's probably a, I don't know, 50-pound chunk of lead. Pretty solid.
You could make sinkers too for fishing.
Yeah. Tire weights. I think all those things have been replaced. Maybe not the sinker weights, but I know the tire weights. Yeah. People used to get those for the scrap lead to melt down, but then they started replacing it because of environmental hazard or whatever they claim. Started replacing it with zinc and stainless steel, and then they became worthless after that.
It wouldn't be as heavy, would they?
No, it wouldn't be as heavy. You'd have to use more of them.
Oh boy.
Or bigger ones.
That's so wild that they can't even get a wheel to be totally round. You have to put the weights on it. That's so weird.
That is a little odd. I mean, the thing's already so big and kind of heavy anyway. You wouldn't think a little tiny weight would really make a difference, but I guess over time it does.
What do you think of David Wilcock's hover car idea? Now, what about wind? Has anybody thought about that? A little bit of wind is going to be not a good thing. I don't know.
Yeah, even on the highway, we're stuck to the road, but we're driving so close together, and then you get a gust of wind and you'll see semis swerve, even little cars, if they've got enough of a profile, it'll slam you into stuff. So yeah, I can't imagine just free hovering out there and then a big gust of wind comes by and everybody goes flying.
Yeah, it doesn't seem, I showed a couple of times the wind bike, and that was a dangerous thing that me and the kids built one day. And we just put a big patio umbrella in the front of a bike, and it was crazy. And you know how you can push the little metal button in and then the thing will come apart? That's the emergency button in case it's too much wind. Just push that, right? Twice. I didn't have time to push the button. I got blown in the ditch. So
yeah, because it's not just your propellant or it's also helping steer you too if it's on the front.
And up here, we live on this peninsula with 2 big bodies of water, so the wind keeps shifting. It's not always coming from one direction. It's always shifting. So it's difficult. But that was fun. The wind bike, man, that thing was sweet. My son loved it because he was like an adventurous type kid, you know. But
That's pretty neat.
I did go all the way up Hillside Road. Is a hill near my house in Egg Harbor. Up this hill, no pedaling, just kicking back, just relaxing and going up the nice little breeze, a very slight breeze. It was at like a 15-degree, a 20-degree angle of the bike.
Okay.
Did you ever see that?
I don't think I ever saw that one.
You want to see it?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay, I'll find the wind bike.
And I remember as a kid, we had this really windy season one year at school, and the wind was blowing so hard that you could and pretty unidirectional, you could like almost lean over into it. Well, you could, and you could almost get like near a 45-degree angle and it would hold you up.
Wow.
Like just hold you wouldn't fall over until you got a little too far. So the next day we came back and we brought these very sturdy cardboard, like from a cardboard box, but it was pretty thick stuff. Anyway, we made this sail, if you will, which is basically just one big rectangular thing. Anyway, we would run real straight and then lift that thing up into that really hard wind. I don't know how fast it was going, but fast. Anyway, it would lift you up, you know, as a kid size, it would lift you up a few feet off the ground and take you back 10 feet or so. It was pretty fun, kind of dangerous, but lots of white spots. That was pretty fun though.
Yeah, wind is fun. Strong, very strong. I found a picture, 3 little pictures of the wind bike. Let's see, here it is. So there it is.
Oh, wow.
It
That's
was
a pretty good size umbrella. It's like a beach
a patio umbrella, you know. And what the thing was, see, I picked my kids up from school. This was when they were young, years ago, when they were younger. And on the way home, we were in Sturgeon Bay. They went to school in Sturgeon Bay. I lived in Egg Harbor. So it's about a 15-minute drive. So on the way home in Sturgeon Bay, we saw, hey, there's a free bike. Hey, let's grab that free bike. Cool. Someone just parked, hey, free bike. So yeah, we got that bike free, brought it home. And then we went out, we took the garbage out to the dumpsters because we lived at a campground. It was a fun place for the kids to live. There was an indoor pool and everything. It was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Those pictures are at the campground too. So my son goes, hey, Dad, look what someone threw away in that barrel back there. It was a patio umbrella. He opens it up, he goes, look, Dad, it's only got one little rip in it. Let's take it. I'm going, AJ, what are we going to do with a patio umbrella? We don't even have a patio table. And I thought, wait a minute, that bike. And it's windy. But it had like flowers on it. It was like white with blue and yellow flowers. So we sprayed it silver so it looked cool, right?
Oh, okay.
And we attached it onto the thing there, as you see, a 20-degree angle. You could crank it in and crank it out. But when we first attached it, I lifted the bike up and a gust came. It blew the thing open and took me and the bike with it. And there was no holes in the front because I couldn't see anything. I had to dump it right away. Then I cut the holes in the front, and we needed to cut the holes in the front because it slowed it down a little bit too. It was going way too fast. If I was to make another one, I'd use clear. I would use clear, definitely.
Yeah, I didn't think about that part where you wouldn't be able to see where you're going. You're just along for the ride.
Yeah, and I was, on the country roads out there in Egg Harbor. I'm cruising in my wind bike, never pedaling, hardly ever at all. And horses, on their property, behind a fence, they would freak out from this thing. Then I started to worry. I'm like, oh no, because you see where it's coming at you. It looks kind of funky. Some farmer might think it's a UFO and shoot me,
Right.
So I thought, well, this might be kind of dangerous. But yeah, it was very dangerous, very dangerous. Yeah. But it was fun.
It looks fun. I'd finish that.
Oh man, I gotta thank you for being one of the coolest mods, man. So thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, I think I'm getting a little better at it and getting a little handier with the links. Mud
Yeah.
Rabbit's still the best with the links. She's always got the Zoom info. I can't like cut and paste because I'm on the phone. For some reason, YouTube won't let you
Oh
cut
really?
and paste. Yeah, you can't. I can't cut and paste chat, so I can't grab that whole block.
Oh okay.
But I've got like kind of a list of other. I'm making a list of other useful links, so sometimes I can come up with those sort of quick,
Yeah.
or I can look them up on the fly if I know right where the stuff's at. So I can usually get that quick. But yeah, it's getting a little better at it.
So I was gonna email you, and I forgot to email you today. It's about. It has to do about what, where you live, and I know you probably don't want to let anyone know, but it's a very interesting place. Um, I'm wondering if you ever see anything around there. You don't need to tell me where it is, but um, any strange happenings UFO wise around there? Where you?
Well, I called in that one time and told you a few of those UFOs that I had seen. So I've seen a few, and
Wow.
then I also told you about that. They were drilling for that geothermal well
Right.
in this location. It's off limits, uh, but you could see it from the city, and they drilled that thing for months. Like I don't know, probably 2 months straight,
Wow.
uh, day and night. You could see their lights out there. They finally drilled far enough. They're going to put in like a geothermal well, I guess they would call it, for
Yeah.
generating energy. Anyway, they got to the bottom and said, "Oh, it turns out it wasn't as geothermal as we thought. We're scrapping the whole thing." They packed it all up, and that was that. And
Wow.
I, from that, and that was before I was ever really into anything esoteric. And
Yeah.
I immediately thought, well, wow, that's a little strange. What did they really drill down to? And the first thing that came into my mind was they must have drilled down and connected to some kind of tunnel system or to a base, or they drilled out some base. But I
Mhm.
immediately thought they connected to a tunnel system because we've got a couple, national laboratories here and lots of big military bases. In fact, they claim the whole state's basically a big military base. So
Wow.
I would not doubt at all that they have escape routes or underground, maglev trains or whatever it might be. I bet they drilled down to make another access point to that.
Wow.
So
That's
if
that's
some
fascinating.
yeah, if someday we ever see some kind of crazy stuff pouring out of there, then well, guess we'll know.
Yeah. Wow. Maybe drop a penny down there and see if you hear it land.
Yeah, well, if you came anywhere near it, you'd probably be arrested.
Yeah.
They patrol that area pretty good. I mean, you could sneak in there, I'm sure, but it would be iffy.
Yeah. You have to wear like a disguise yourself like a bush, but then if they see the bush walking, it's not good, right?
Yeah. No, you probably could get away with it like that if you camoed up and just went in there Hobbit style and yeah, I think it could be done.
Hire that
But
guy who has had surgery to make himself look like a deer. Wasn't he shot? He was shot.
I don't know if I've heard of that one, but
Guy, he had antlers put in. I mean, how do you sleep with ant? I mean, my God.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's it's not the future I was anticipating. That's for sure.
No, no.
So that's
Yeah,
the wind bike. The wind bike. Now you've seen the wind bike.
that's interesting. I not a not a lot of choice in which direction you go, but be fun
Oh,
while for the ride.
it was fun. My son drove it up and down the campground road, and he just had a blast. Just had a blast with that thing. He was into skateboards and all that kind of dangerous stuff. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Any information that you're hearing coming out from the people you listen to, do you keep your ear pretty close to this kind of stuff, or?
I not really. There's only so many hours in the day. I usually
Yeah.
end up spending most of my time watching the political stuff, which I don't love, but I feel like I need to watch it just to
Mm-hmm.
make sure I can see what's coming and try to plan ahead. So I see a lot of that.
Let's go,
But
Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
oh man, that is the funniest thing I've heard in such a long time. It's just so perfect.
I know.
Because it took the one thing that everybody's been saying already, which is a little biting, and people probably don't like hearing it and saying it all that often, but
Right.
man, it distilled that down to something more palatable. It's a code word, so like if you're in the know, you know what's being said, and it's just so perfect. And then it also at the same time encapsulates the just sheer gaslighting by the media. That here's this crowd of thousands, probably tens of thousands of people bellowing this thing unmistakably.
Yeah.
To the point that it's drowning out the guy's interview. Oh, how was your win at Talladega? Oh, it's so good. It's great to win. Let's go, Brand. And then here's the gal, just so ridiculous. I mean, I'll hand it to her. She was thinking on her feet. It was pretty clever to come up with something that sounded somewhat similar, but then to even voice it is just so ridiculous. But she comes out with it. Oh, the crowd's cheering. Let's go, Brandon. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't believe lying ears. You didn't hear what you just heard. Let me tell you what you heard. And it backfired on him so bad. I mean, that lady's probably just like, oh, I tried so hard for my beloved Joe to save him from himself. And here it has turned into a universal meme.
Oh God.
And I kind of wonder what Brandon thinks about it. I mean, he was kind of chuckling during the interview anyway, so I imagine he finds it hilarious. But oh, it's so perfect.
Yeah, it really is. I love that Babylonian bee thing. And there's also a meme. It's the one you've probably seen it. It's probably from when Obama was president. So Obama's on the right, sitting on a chair, kind of leaning forward, and Biden's sitting next to him. Obviously they're in the White House, and then Biden says, "You hear that? People are chanting like they want to have sex with me." And Obama's like, "That's not what they mean. That's not what they mean, Joe." Oh, jeez.
Babylon Bee's funny. The greatest headline I saw recently was Biden aides rush to stop him from running out on the field and joining in the chant.
Oh God, that's hilarious. Oh, here's another one. Breaking news. Oh my God, a new whistleblower. Did you hear about this? This is breaking news. Okay, this just came up. Check this out.
I might have.
Unbelievable. A whistleblower from the White House. Look at this. Anonymous White House whistleblower comes forward. CNN. White House whistleblower claims strangers drag him from place to place and make him sign papers and read words on monitors, and he hardly gets any ice cream. Of course, it's Sleepy Joe.
You can't tell. That could be Brandon.
Oh, yeah, it could be Brandon. Oh man, I saw this. I thought, yeah, I love that. Because that could happen. That actually could happen.
Yeah, they're so good.
Speaking of whistleblowers, isn't it odd how only one whistleblower has made it to 60 Minutes out of the hundreds or thousands of whistleblowers that have come out in recent years? And
that
happens to be the one that agrees with their way of thinking.
Yeah, that was pretty spectacular. You got, every other whistleblower gets their life destroyed, censored from everywhere. maybe even gets the FBI breaking down their door and hauling them away.
Yeah.
Some of them get outright offed. They get iced. And then here we get this one whistleblower, and they claim, within 48 hours, she's got a 60 minutes interview being spread far and wide. She gets a verified Twitter account where she can amplify her stuff, and then gets a congressional hearing within not even 2 days.
Amazing.
In front of Congress. And it turns out her whole spiel is, oh, Facebook is so damaging. The only way we can save it is by even more censoring. Wow.
Yeah. Unbelievable. It's just so predictable at this point. It's the media is just irredeemable. They're just, hello, Peggy Dancer. I wonder if that's her real last name or if she just likes to dance. Could be.
I always imagined she liked dancing around. Hi, Peggy Dancer. Much love, friend.
Yes. It's so cool to hear you because we always see you over there. It's so cool to hear you. That's awesome. So what of all the UFO stories that you've ever heard or seen covered in various programs or whatever, which one do you think is like captivates you the most?
The ones that always get, not so much the stories, the footage is the ones that get me. Because I mean, the stories are believable. I don't think that all these people are lying. I'm sure there's people that do lie about it. Most of them, they're just regular people that were minding their own business, and now they got this crazy story, and they're going to come out and tell it, and then everybody's going to point and laugh, ridicule them, call them crazy, try to haul them away, so that they gain nothing. But then they're just like, oh, this happened. Like someone, I got to believe me. And then the more people don't believe them, they're just like, nope, I'm going to stick to my guns because this happened. If I say it didn't happen, then yeah, it means I was crazy. So I believe most of the stories. But man, the footage gets me. Like, you've been checking out Secure Team again.
Yeah.
I used to watch it. My friend turned me on to it. I used to watch it religiously. Man, we would watch it every single night. And man, that guy had I wish he had an archive of that, because he probably had the best compendium of UFO footage that I'd seen. And he did like a lot of NASA photos, and he picked them apart and found the little nuggets. But then he also had terrestrial ones where people had filmed. Some of them are pretty hard to see, or it's something way out there, you can't really tell. But man, some of them were just up close and personal. Like they're unmistakable. And one of the ones that was always pretty fascinating to me had been filmed by a few different people, and it was very clear. I think there was at least 3 that were crystal clear, and it was not like a saucer it was a very odd shape. It was kind of like a box, and then maybe or sort of like a rectangular box, narrow but sort of rectangle, and then at the end of it, it had kind of like this down swooping sort of, let's say, spike or something coming off. It was an odd shape, and then I think it had a porthole kind of up on one side of it. And it just looked very you could see it clear as day. Sometimes it was like behind clouds, and the clouds would sort of part, and then it's like, whoa, there it is, clear as day.
Wow.
That one was always very intriguing to me, because it looked like maybe not a spaceship. It almost looked like a little touring pod or something for in the atmosphere. Like there was probably some little tour group looking out the porthole or something. It almost seemed like maybe not alien, like a more of a secret space program little observation box or something. But it was obviously anti-gravity. It was just hovering there, maybe no motion to it. It would hide in clouds. Some of those kind of get me, like the ones that are sort of odd shaped.
Yeah.
There's that one boomerang that they caught from the space station. That one always kind of weirded me out. It's way up there. Must have been pretty big, but it's just spinning like a boomerang. I was always thinking, man, if somebody was actually in there, would it, how, could a person be in there or a being? You'd be spinning like crazy. You wouldn't really be able to see out unless there was some kind of camera system that kind of could look every direction at once or something. You could just sort of be in there spinning, I guess. And, or, if they've got some kind of gravitational field where maybe you don't feel any of the momentum, then maybe it wouldn't matter. You wouldn't be able to see out a window, it'd just be a blur of stuff spinning. But maybe if you had some kind of camera system, I don't know, that one was pretty weird. They say, oh, it's space debris. Like, yeah, right. This thing's like a perfectly shaped boomerang spinning in a perfectly uniform pattern and then zipping across the sky. I mean, there's no,
Wow.
I can't imagine a space debris doing that.
I have a ton of boomerangs here, and they just keep piling up, and I can't throw them away. Just
Right on.
they come right back.
Right on.
Just keep piling up.
You got me there for a second.
Yeah. So have you shown the time machine to anybody yet?
I had. Well, no, that's not true. I showed it to Sapo, my friend Sapo.
Okay.
Yeah. So, or did I show it to him? No, I didn't. But he's seen it on the show, so he knows what was up.
All right.
But I did bring over the super cubes, and I gave him one so that he could. We bounced it around for the kitty cat.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
The toad guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Toad. That's awesome. So you know that guy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, those super cubes are quite amazing, aren't they?
Yeah, they're pretty fun. It's kind of frustrating in a way. Like I want it to bounce the way I want it just once, but it won't.
I know. They bounce different. They guaranteed to bounce different every time. Your money back. There you go.
I doubt I'll be able to cash in on that one because, yeah, I was bouncing it around on the desk and it goes flying off and going everywhere. Yeah. Then I put them on the table and dropped them all on the table, and boy, then I end up running around for them all. But then I have one sitting at work too, and I went and bounced it down the hallway as well because we got a fairly wide hallway, but hard floors, so bounced it down there, and sometimes it goes backwards, sometimes it'll kind of go bouncing regular and off the walls. They're fun. They're weird.
They're fun. You can take two of them in your hand and grip them, kind of like a gripping thing.
Yeah, I like that.
Another thing you can do, like if you have like a spasm in your shoulder or something, you can rub it like this and it massages you. Or someone could do that on your back, rub it around on your back, and it gives like a really cool feeling massage.
Yeah, I was doing that just between my hands, like rubbing it around. That actually felt pretty good on my palms.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we need to stretch our hands more. I use a mouse, right? And
yeah,
I had this idea of, what do you think about this? And I made one. It's over there. It's like a bean bag that attaches to your mouse, so you can rest your wrist on it, but it's connected to the mouse, so it moves wherever you move it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is a good idea. I mean, they make those kind of for like sometimes I've seen some that have like a little pad on the mouse pad, but they don't really work that good because you're still moving the mouse all around.
Exactly. So I thought that was a good idea. But yeah, so many good ideas. The other good idea I had, you've probably seen this too, is my idea to help motorcyclists to be seen.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that one?
I do.
Let me see. Oh, here, I think I got to do this. I think it's already open. I think it's already open. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, the holographic projection motorcycle. So in other words, you would like you'd fit the motorcycle with a series of holographic projectors, and you project an image around the bike to make it bigger looking. You could make it be a car, it could be a big bike, make it look like a truck, whatever you want it to look like. But and it could be even more solid looking than that. But the idea is it would make it a bigger thing to see, so that less motorcycles would get hit by cars.
Yeah, that'd be something. Yeah, I'd love it if we had some holographic projectors that you could make a realistic looking 3D image just in
They have them.
open.
They have them. Have you seen
Yeah.
Mitsu something? She's a holographic singer in Japan.
I've seen videos of stuff like that. I've never seen it in real life. I guess if I saw it in real life, I'd be impressed by it.
Oh, okay.
Because I would love to see a true 3D hologram like projected into midair.
Mm-hmm.
Because as it stands, I'm not sure exactly how you could ever do that. Maybe there are ways, but
I think it was Corey that said that that the secret space program, they're extremely advanced. They have what he calls a solid holograph. So they project it, and they can turn off the projection, and it's got a solid thing. It's like a solid hollow. You can like knock on it, stand on it.
I've heard that also from Gene Decode. You know that guy?
No, Gene Decode. I'm gonna write that down.
He does he's on Blessed to Teach quite a bit. His name's Gene. He does decodes, and he got the name Gene Decode. He did a lot of series about deep underground military bases.
Okay.
So he did all these like series on dumbs and the underground wars being waged on those, and the status of the White Hats. He's an ex-military guy.
Okay.
But he claimed the same thing, that when he was in the military, when he first came across this, and he saw he was there at like this mountain near military bases and whatnot, and that these 18-wheelers just drove right through the mountain, like into the side of the mountain, and disappeared. And he was so amazed by it, realized it was a holographic projection. But then when he went over there and touched it, it was solid. And that's one of the things he touts, is that that they can project solid holographic image / matter somehow to disguise entrances to these military bases.
Wow.
I don't know how that could be done, but maybe it's possible.
But I think it definitely is possible. In fact, many, many years ago, probably back in 1979 or 1980, I had an idea, because, there was a series of house fires in the news. And I was thinking about that, how, why are we making houses out of stuff that burns, right? And I thought, well, in the future, they'll probably have just one little electronic box that they put on a piece of land, turn it on, step back, and then you have like a 2-story house that's holographically projected. And then it would never burn down. But then I thought, oh, but what if the power cuts and you're on the second floor and you all of a sudden fall down?
Oh, yeah.
But if they could have it where they turn the power off and it's still solid, then but then it might burn too if it's solid. I don't know. Yeah, but I had that idea way back then that we could maybe live in holographic houses if we could get the holograms to be solid. But I didn't think it would be a problem. So I think they probably could do it. They probably have done it.
They probably have. And it's interesting too, if you could make a hologram that was temporarily solid, man, you could do a lot with that. Like, not just necessarily projecting a solid thing, but you could project a robot, let's say, or a million little robots that would all go construct a house, for instance.
Yeah.
And if you had the right programming and you could make those things solid, you could basically build whatever you wanted without actually having to build it. You could build stuff that was maybe in a sense physically maybe not impossible, but prohibitive. But you could make it, if you could make it out of just light, and it'd basically be like a 3D printer, but with it, you would never have to print it. You just build your model, give it the commands of how to move and what to do, and then project it out there, and it could be doing very, very complex tasks. And you wouldn't necessarily be prohibited by size either. I mean, maybe to some degree, but you could go maybe down to the microscopic or up to very large size as well.
Huh. Interesting. I just think that, it's 2021. We should have stuff like this. Should be out there everywhere. I mean, right? I mean, it's the future now. This is what we used to think of as the future. And we should have future stuff.
Yeah.
It needs to happen. It needs to happen. Oh, Terry Hopper said, I was impressed with the bounciness. I thought it would be like an eraser, but they really are like a Play Jacks bouncy ball and will bounce really high. Yeah, they bounce super high. When we were doing the Super Cube World Record Challenge up at the skate park up here, I told the guys there that the harder you throw it straight down, the straighter up it'll go. And that's true. But if it goes off just a little bit, you're running a long ways to get it. So the guy who won the world record was just on his knees on the ground, just doing it very close to the ground, like just a foot above the ground. So he had pretty good luck with that. Super cubes. Yeah, they're fantastic. And my dad made the mold, so makes me even more proud that those were made.
Yeah, they're neat. That's a really cool idea.
Thanks, man.
Makes sense. Since the harder you throw it, the flatter it would squish down when it impacted, and then maybe it would come up a little straighter.
Yes, but it's not going to help you. It's not going to really do much. So yeah. Yeah, but it's fun, and when you can play pitching pennies. So you pick a spot, you don't step beyond a certain spot, you and your partner, your buddy, and you try to toss your super cube towards the wall. And when they stop bouncing around, whichever one's closest to the wall wins. That'll drive you nuts. So you try to throw it ever so gently, but the thing that bounces so incredibly, it goes crazy. And cats love them. Do you have any animals?
I don't, but my friend has a little kitten. She's probably 6 months old now, so she's getting a little big. But yeah, I was tossing that thing around the kitchen for her, and she's pretty amped up on it.
Oh yeah.
I think she wishes it rolled, because then she'd go swat it. Well, swatting it's moving, but she wants it to just start rolling around. But then I'd pick it up and bounce it a little bit, and it'd start going all crazy, and she couldn't. That's like one thing she couldn't quite catch.
Okay.
She's pretty good at catching stuff. Like if you toss a toy or something, she'll nab it out of the air, and she'll catch it out of the air. But that one was pretty unpredictable. So
that's cool.
That's fun.
Now my daughter had a dog named Carmel, and she could throw the super cubes. She'd pick them up and throw them and chase them. So she would entertain herself.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I think this one probably would too. I mean, she took it and ran off into the other room, and I could hear her bouncing it around off the walls and stuff. So she was over there having some fun with it.
Cool. Yeah, they're a lot of fun, and they're great erasers. If you ever need to erase anything. That reminds me of a space story. When they went up into space, I think it was in the early astronauts, they found out that ink pens wouldn't work, like a ballpoint pens wouldn't work in zero gravity.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So they spent $1 billion creating a pen that would work in space. In the meantime, the astronauts used pencils.
Yeah. 10 cent solution. That's government spending for you.
Oh my God, that just says it all right there, doesn't it? We finally got it. We finally got it. A pen that will work in space. Oh, we're already using pencils, dude.
But then they'll have to figure out a pencil sharpener that sucks the shavings in so you don't get any particles coming out or some deal.
Yeah. Speaking of particles coming out, I heard that was a big problem in the early toilets in the space shuttle. There was stuff floating around that shouldn't be floating around.
I could imagine that would be an issue. That's one you'd probably want to get solved on Earth way ahead of time. Like maybe first job on the spacecraft is figure that out.
Did you hear about those crazy guys? I think back in 1952, these two guys, they flew a Cessna, a small Cessna, for 60 some days in a row.
I think I heard you mention that. That's pretty. I don't know how you do that exactly.
Well, they had a truck. There was a truck. They would match speed with this truck, and they dropped down the fuel line. They'd fill the fuel up, and then they took the second seat out, and they put a cot or a bed in there. And so one pilot would sleep while the other one was piloting. And then they would also, when they were above the truck, they would hoist up food and stuff. And, I don't know, maybe they went out the window. I don't know what they did. I don't know about, they didn't really mention about the toiletries, but they did it.
Yeah, back in the 60s, they probably just had some grocery bags or something and just check them out the window.
Yeah.
Same with the beer cans, just check them out the window.
Like we did on the moon. There's I heard there's 850 pounds of human waste in bags on the moon.
Oh my.
No wonder they won't let us into the Galactic Council, right? Hey, you guys are making a mess wherever you go. You only went to one place and look at the mess you left. Right?
Yeah, you'd think you'd just at least take it. Well, I don't know. Nah, seems like you could take it back up into the craft with you and then jettison it halfway to Earth or something.
Yeah, couldn't you put it in the flux capacitor and burn it as fuel or something? I don't know.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, why not? Yeah, they should have put it in there somehow, burn that up.
Here's my question for that too, for space travel. Why not fast? Have all the astronauts be fasting while they're up there. Why not? They won't have to go to the bathroom. They won't have to eat. You can go a week or two. The length of any mission. Maybe they have energy bars. They could eat a little bit. But I don't know. Why didn't they think of that?
Yeah, or some kind of, maybe like a superfood where you just eat some kind of super nutrient packed gel where you don't have to carry as much, you don't have to discard as much, and then or discard as much, and then
it's just exactly what your body needs, right?
Yeah, plenty of some super dense protein, carbo, vitamins, and all that stuff. Although they should probably have that here on Earth too, but yeah, that seems like a good idea. Wouldn't have to carry as much with you.
Fast
water.
Yeah.
Didn't that one astronaut, I can't remember who it was, on one of the moon missions, but didn't he hold it the entire mission?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he didn't go number 2.
Yeah, and so he, which makes sense. People like, oh, that's amazing, but no, they were only up there a few days.
And so, yeah, when you're in space, remember now, all your organs go up into your chest, so your whole insides is different, and there's different things going on. So your body's not going to be reacting like it normally does.
No, there's no gravity pulling.
Because all your organs are hanging by strings inside there, pulling them up, keeping them from falling. But in space, there's nothing pulling it down. So it just kind of goes up and your heart goes up into your throat, kind of. And it's kind of weird. You know, a lot of astronauts, they find it difficult to go through that.
Yeah, I imagine that would be be very something you're very unused to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that guy, when he got back, they immediately wanted to do that press conference with him as soon as they stepped out of the craft, and there he was, kind of trying to rush through the press conference, just like, yes.
Yeah, I got. I'll be right back.
Yeah, yes, it was great. Okay, next question. Yes, it was great. All right, bye.
Yeah. 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 That's what it is.
I think zero gravity would be fun, though. I would love to go up there and play around in the zero gravity for a while.
Yeah, that would be a blast. I've always wanted that too. You know, we should have all had a chance to go into space by now. I mean, you figure we're on the moon in '69. It's 2021, and there's no space hotel yet. Come on. What the heck? But you know what a lot of people say is that the initial Mars colony that they put up there, they told the colonists that life was no longer on Earth. There was no life on Earth. Earth was destroyed somehow, either natural catastrophe or they had some story. And so they said, we are the last hope for humankind. So we have to be totalitarian, and we're going to tell you what to do. We're going to tell your kids what to do. And yeah, it's so. And a lot of the benevolent ETs are like, well, can't you tell them the truth? And no, this is an experiment. This is a psychological experiment we're conducting. So it's like, wow, the way they keep this from the general people, they have to lie to everybody. It's sick. But at some point, all the lies aren't going to work, and the truth's going to be very evident to everybody.
I think so.
That's what I hope for. That's what I'm hoping for sure. Yeah. So, did you watch Red Pill tonight? He had a really good show.
No. Was it his recorded broadcast?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it tonight.
Apparently, Hunter Biden, he's got this artwork that he blows through a straw, and he makes all this money. And they were selling prints, not originals, just the prints for $75,000 a piece.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's money laundering. It's pretty evident on the face of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose those rich people blow their money on ridiculous stuff all the time, and he's Hunter Biden. Oh, we've got to get one of those Hunter Biden prints. But geez, I mean, for 70, that guy would do anything for money. You could hand him 75,000 and tell him to come over to your house and roll around butt naked, covered in paint on a canvas, and you'd have an original Hunter Biden hanging on your wall by that evening. Hell, he'd probably do it for $10,000.
It's just amazing. It's amazing how much they're allowed to get away with. But I'm really hopeful that Durham is going to kick butt. It seems like that's going to happen. And this other guy, Jolly, I think that was mentioned. I think John Solomon got word that he was one of the guys. The tech person number one or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So some of that's starting to leak out. So I think we're going to see, and it all connects to Hillary and company, and Barack Obama. This guy worked for Barack Obama, Biden, and Hillary. This Jaffe guy, Jolly or whatever his name is.
Hmm.
Yeah, Red Pill covered that today. It was very interesting. He does such a good job, man. He's like born to do the news, don't you think?
Yeah, he does. He researches it, and he definitely puts together some good stuff. Keeps it succinct and sticks to the, at least on his broad or his recorded stuff, he really sticks to the facts. Let's say,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they'll on the interviews and stuff, they'll speculate a little bit on this or that, just
sure.
as they should. But yeah, on his recorded broadcast, he really does stick to the sauce, if you will.
Yeah, and his guests, wow, he gets the best guests. Amazing, just amazing.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's gotten some good ones, and he's got some clout now because he's interviewed so many people, and he's a really good interviewer.
Oh yeah,
Very kind and fair-minded, and he's got good rapport with everybody. So it's pretty well done.
you know,
His
I
his,
I
his
interviewed.
Dr. Slenko interview was real good.
Oh yeah, that Zelenko. Yeah, he's an amazing. He's got cancer now, so
Yeah, I heard that.
pray for him. Um, but yeah, it's it is amazing as we go through this quest for truth. We're all questing, truthing. The truth might not be what we think it's going to be, but the truth is the truth, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Corey Good says something I think is really interesting. We all see things differently because we all look at the world through our own little lens. Like we all have a little lens we view the world through, and every experience we have, everything we learn or come across, is another little grain of sand that we grind into um, that lens. So, and that affects the way we see the world because it's our bank of knowledge that we're seeing the world with, and that's why everyone sees things differently because they have a different lens they're seeing it through because all of their experiences have them see things a certain way. I think that's a really good way of describing it.
Yeah, that is. That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
And that's good because boys, people will you'll talk to somebody and they'll see something that you didn't see. They'll see it from maybe not a completely different perspective, but from a slightly different angle where you're like, oh yeah, that didn't click before, but all of a sudden it is like you say, it's the same thing, but you can kind of see it from a different perspective, and it kind of brings a new facet to it, perhaps.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's kind of in certain philosophies or what have you, or just in people talk about then trying to take away your filters or your lenses, right? Like try to look at something with take away all preconceptions, all knowledge that you might try to apply to it, and just see it for what it really is. Just pure with no filter. I guess that's probably pretty hard to do, but I think some people have more of a knack for it to try to take away those lenses, if you will, and then maybe you see even more of what's there somehow.
Yeah. I knew someone, actually I dated someone who, and it was at the time I was doing my show on Blog Talk Radio, and it was starting to take off. It was starting to become pretty popular. It was one of the most popular shows on Blog Talk Radio at the time. And so I was pretty proud of it, but I couldn't talk about it with her because and this is what she said, she only wanted to see something that's gone through a filter. She wanted to see anything, it was on the news, then she could watch it, because she's not going to watch some guy in his basement. Like, thanks a lot. I put a lot of work into this show, and what are you talking? So there's someone who will always be a sheep, probably, and maybe not, but yeah, I can't imagine wanting to have a filter for everything. I'd rather be my own filter, really. Don't you think?
Yeah, yeah, and the filter can be good depending on what it is, but not when it's like, oh, I only want the corporate filter. I want
Yes.
the CEOs of some board of directors of some mega national, multi-billion-dollar corporation that has an agenda of money making, control, power, societal control. That's who I want spreading the word from the top down to a bunch of minions to then go out and tell me some little tiny, grain of sand of the entire beach. They're going to hand me the one grain of sand that they've filtered out for me.
Mhm.
Great.
Right.
I'd rather have the guy in the basement because he can look at 50 different outlets and condense it all, pick the good bits and pieces out of all of it, and reassemble it into something maybe a little closer to the truth, maybe a little more complete, because he can go out and grab lots of different pieces.
Yeah.
I like it a lot more.
And you can cover things, about industries without worrying, because on TV, I mean, you have to not step on the feet of big pharma and things like this. So, the news you get from the TV, it's so filtered, so many ways. So yeah, the independent guy out of his basement or wherever he's doing it from, much better information, much more entertaining, and better. I think it's better.
Yeah. It may not be the whole truth, but it's certainly closer to it.
Yeah. And everybody has value. Everyone has a story. Everyone has something to say. So you can't just only listen to certain people. You have to broaden your horizons. And there's so many to choose from now. There's just so many good shows out, aren't there?
There are. Yeah, there's a lot of people working really hard to figure it all out, and they've all gone. You see them always going through a constant evolution, if you will. Seeing Red Pill grow, and just all the channels, all the Patriot channels that I like are you've seen a progression, and they're getting pretty honed in on what's what. I mean, they've gone through a lot. They've gone through war. They've been deplatformed from all these places, had to pick up and restart their whole gig from the get-go multiple times. It's quite a deal. Yeah. Listening to multiple places and people is, I'd say I agree that it's good to do that, but at the same time, there's some that I just have to block out.
Yeah.
As for instance, the other night, I don't know if you know Zoso Dude 77.
Yeah. He's got a really cool voice. He's got a made for radio voice, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, he's got the ultimate voice. I mean,
He does.
deep baritone, and it's pretty. It is made to listen to. Yeah, the guy's got the voice, no doubt.
What
And
was he?
he's a good guy. He's not even. He does his show. He's not like he does some political stuff, and he covers a lot of topics, but it's mainly just camaraderie, chatting about kind of everyday type of stuff.
Yeah.
I guess. Anyway, he went on a show. Have you heard of this podcast called QAnon Anonymous?
No.
Okay, so it's this podcast. It's got all these. It's basically a group of shills, in my opinion. These guys go on there and badmouth anybody who believes in the back channel, or anybody who likes Trump, or anybody who's conservative or Christians, or they just bash on this. These guys' whole gig is they'll sit around watching an episode of Red Pill and just rip on it the whole time.
Really?
And Oh yeah. Yeah, that's their whole gig. These
Oh, man.
guys make bank doing that.
Oh, that's
Now, I
sick.
don't know how, yeah, they've people have looked and found that some of these guys Patreon, 'cause it's a number of them, but then there's a few key ones. I don't even know all their names. I'd have to go look again because I just don't pay attention. But some
Okay.
of these guys are making like $60,000 a month
Hmm.
by doing this. And you think, well, it doesn't seem very natural. Like even if their subscriptions to say their Twitch page, $6 a pop. I don't
Hmm.
think they have 10,000 people giving them a Patreon every month. Maybe they do,
Hmm.
but it's been speculated that probably they're getting some outside money to purposefully do this, propagandize people, get people off the path. Anyway, that's their whole gig. He went on, this one guy named Julian Field,
Okay.
Feeld. He's one of the main progenitors of this anonymous broadcast, and he's got his own Twitch show. It's bogus. Uh, he
Hmm.
went on there not really to debate the guy, but just to have a conversation, and it was a fairly civil conversation. They went back and forth on a couple little things, not too heavy. But I went into the chat with some other of the Zoso crew, went in there and challenged some of these people in the chat. And it was an eye-opening experience, very weird. There are some there's some lost people in there. I'll just put it that way. Without going into too many specifics, those people are lost. I mean, and arrogantly so. I mean, they are just the most. They're arrogant. They're self-inflated. They are just. They know everything. Everybody's stupid but them, and their whole existence in this thing is just to sit around patting each other on the back, telling each other how great and smart they are for realizing how stupid all those other people are.
Wow.
It was bizarre. And then and some of these people, I couldn't help but notice that their whole persona, at least in the chat, I've not met them or anything, but their whole persona in the chat is like, they never say anything of substance. Everything they say is a big fat joke, like not just cracking jokes, but just whatever they say is, if you were to call them on it, they'd just be like, oh, you really took me seriously? You thought that's what I really think? Well, it's like, well, say one thing that you actually really think. Well,
Yeah.
nothing you've said is anything that you think or that you think is real, but everybody else is dumb because they think something's real, but then everything you say is like, you just don't believe anything. And I think that's what it comes down to, is they don't really have any core. They have nothing that they believe in.
Right. It,
Uh, they don't know what's going on. They must feel somewhat adrift, but then they mask it with, oh, I'm just very yeah, I don't even know how to put it into words.
right.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's loof about everything.
Juvenile.
It's very juvenile.
Sophomoric. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it
these are
was.
the same in the past years, these would be the same kids making crank calls on the phone, before they'd be the people doing that.
Right, right. And I called a few of them out. Like, somebody said, oh, they go over there and watch Red Pill and these guys, oh, and they believe in this and that. Oh, it's so sad. And I was like, I told them, sad? What do you mean sad? I noticed that there's a lot of joy over there. That's
Yeah.
about all I see over there is joy. Oh,
Yeah.
well, sad. I meant it's pathetic and ridiculous. And I was just like, really? Because when I go over there, I see uh, camaraderie, and I
Yeah.
see love, and I see people helping each other with, yeah,
Friendliness. You
yeah,
don't see
friend,
any of that,
friend,
nothing like that on their side. It's just all hate. They hate. They hate
yeah,
some
they,
they hate someone.
yeah, yeah. And so I told them, I see people helping each other gather info, find links, find help. I noticed that when people are in trouble, people rally to help them and encourage them. I see nothing, but I don't find any of that pathetic
No,
or sad.
no. It's uplifting. It's like you believe in humanity again, because this is what, you know, a lot of us were missing. You know, what I love about the Anons too is every once in a while, back when that was going really hot and heavy, they would say, you know what, I never felt like I belonged. I never felt like I did anything that mattered. This is the first thing that I've done that it feels like I'm making a difference, and that my life means something. And these are people that were completely lost, and they found something that they're good at, and it really gave their lives meaning. And that's no small thing, because these people were very lost. A lot of them were.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think that was maybe the biggest or most valuable thing to come out of the Trump information back channel program
Mhm.
was all those people were scattered. They all have very good skills and good critical thinking, but I think all of us at that time were just kind of like, I see all this stuff. I can see all these bits and pieces. I know there's something wrong, but and I think the way I do, but hey, I must be the only one,
Mhm.
and going to hell in a handbasket. I guess nothing I can do but sit back and watch it burn.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, this information back channel did focus everybody kind of in the same place. And all of a sudden, like you're saying, people saw like, hey, there's all these people that think just like me. It
Yeah.
gives me it gives me hope in humanity again. I thought I was the only one. I thought humanity was dead, but there's
Mhm.
all these people that are fighting hard the same as I am. And not just a few. It turns out there's millions, tens
Millions,
of millions, maybe
millions,
hundreds of millions.
hundreds of all over the world.
Worldwide. So it really boosted that by just having everybody unity, bringing everybody together, and
Yeah.
then focusing in mass on a single goal. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden things were happening. And it's happening because before, okay, they'd put out the narrative, the fake news and all this, and months later, maybe years later, all of a sudden people would come to the truth and it would be exposed and say, oh, they were lying to us back then.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people are so hyper focused on it and in such numbers and with such cooperation, I guess you might say, and discernment to what's valuable and what's not, as far as info people gather, what to throw out and what to keep. Nowadays, they put out a fake news narrative, and that thing is debunked maybe in the same day, maybe within a few hours.
Or minutes. Yeah. And the guy's
Yeah.
Facebook page is all screenshotted, and before they can cleanse it. Yeah, it's amazing. And can you imagine if what we're talking about right now would have been covered on the mainstream news, if it was real news? How wonderful the world would be already now, if this would have been public knowledge from the get-go. I mean, so incredible.
There'd be no place for corruption to hide at that point.
There wouldn't be. No, and
The
that's awfully telling, that the corruption wants to continue, so they're stifling the free speech.
Yeah, they hide Hunter's laptop, they hide the photos, they black out, memory hole. They just memory hole and blackball anything that's true, and then inundate you 24/7 with the fake narrative,
Yeah.
pump that into people's brains to cloud them. Yeah,
Yeah.
imagine if the news just came on each night and was like, oh wow, well, we got some breaking anon news here. We had Red Pill come up with this thing, and then Methods took it and found
Yeah.
this other stuff, and then Grasshopper came in with the decode, and and here's what it all came down to is like BlackRock owns all these corporations, and then they're working with the Clintons or whatever,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they'd have the whole thing broken down within just a few hours. And then if they put it out like that, then you'd have 10,000 other anons give them the next thing for the next day, and they'd be like, wow, we found out even more.
Yeah, it's the ultimate crowdsourcing. You know, it's sad that Robert David Steele passed away, because he was, pushing to crowdsource the CIA, and get rid of the CIA and do it all through crowdsourcing. You know,
that'd be the way to go, as we know those guys are corrupt. You can't leave them to a bunch of like backroom spies just doing their own dirty work. If it was crowdsourced, you'd have some accountability for one.
yeah.
I mean,
And if their narrative was true, if what they said was true, then this, what I'm going to share right now, would be what every politician would, how every politician would be talking to their constituents, because this guy got 81 million votes. So there he is. Going to repost this every time Waste Book covers it up with their bullshit fact checking, false statement, half truth garbage, because I heard him say it. You heard him say it. They know he said it, and he said it. I don't work for you, where he was pointing at that worker with the hard hat on at that, it was like a union gathering or something. He was doing a speech at, I don't work for you. And he did say that. What's funny is not funny, but on Facebook, every time this gets posted, it says false. He didn't say that.
yeah,
So,
baloney. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, I heard it with my own ears.
me too. So if they're trying to pretend like this is a real thing, every politician from here forward is going to, okay, minimize the workers, say, I don't work for you. We're going to tell all the people of color, if they don't vote for him, they ain't black. And if you do these kind of things, if you just insult the people nonstop, then you'll get more votes than anybody else in history. It's amazing. That's why their logic doesn't work, because you can't take anything they do. You can't make any logic out of it. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
It really doesn't. No, you can't. It's just so unbelievable. I mean, inconceivable.
Did you know he had his skull cap removed? Like right here.
I've heard that from the brain surgeries.
Yep. He had brain surgery and had to pop the top off like a pumpkin top. And he said, and he said to the, go ahead.
I think they sewed him up with a piece missing.
They said, what's all this Jello stuff here? Let's get this Jello stuff out. Oh, that was his brain. Put it back in. We'll put this sponge in instead. That'll work.
No one will ever know the difference.
SpongeBob. But I guess he told the surgeon, he goes, we're gonna have to cut the top off. He goes, well, make sure you sew it up good when you're done, because I'm gonna be president someday. And that's what all future presidents are told. They're going to be president one day.
Huh.
By the CIA, according to Pishago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can believe it.
So that's why he would say that. That's why when Trump said, when he won, he said, or right before he won, he said, I always knew it would, the day would come. I just didn't know when. And that's what they do. They never tell you when you're going to be president. They just tell you you're going to be president. And that's why Barack Obama, when he was a junior senator, after he gave that speech at the DNC that everyone freaked out about, they're all asking, you want to run for president? He goes, no, I'm not ready yet. Because he wasn't ready yet to be president. He was just a junior senator. He knew he was going to be president because they told him that. But yeah. And in fact, Andrew was at the jump room with Barry Soetoro, Barack Obama. And one of the technicians was talking to Andrew's dad, and he said, do you really think it's a good idea to be sending a future president to the surface of Mars? And Andrew's dad said, correction, 2 future presidents, because his son at that point was maybe going to be president one day. So yeah. So they're told they're going to be president. He knew he was going to be president.
It's interesting. Yeah, and I would posit that the CIA, knowing that they can rig elections and install who they want, I would surmise that maybe they tell a lot of people that. Like let's say they tell 5 people that, and one of them maybe only ever gets to be president, but they might have told 4 others. At that point, they can groom all of them to be that. And I would say that probably I would think that because I think Joe maybe wasn't their first choice, maybe not even their second choice. I mean, he was probably pretty far down on the list, but then they were in a moment of desperation. They had to pick somebody. They knew he was pliable. He'd already maybe been groomed for it. Somebody like Obama was probably their first choice because he ticked a lot of boxes that, you know, that would have made him a very prime candidate. Whereas Joe, you know, they wanted old Hillary in there, and then after that got blown out of the water, they were kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. They had to get somebody. So I would imagine that they might tell a lot of people that and start grooming them for it. And then if they don't get it, then they're like, well, too bad.
Well, that might be, but the premise that Andrew was talking about was they had quantum access. In other words, they could go into the future and see who was going to be the president, and then
Right.
come back and tell them that. And like when Andrew's dad brought back that book, Exopolitics by Alfred Lambermont Weber, it
Okay.
was edited by Andrew DiPasciago. So in 1971, his dad brought this book back. It was from like 2007 or something like that. And he said, "Look, son, here's a book that you're going to edit, Exopolitics." And in the foreword, it mentioned President Jimmy Carter, and like, President Jimmy Carter, who's that? Because it was 1971; he hadn't been president yet. So that might have been one of the first ones that they knew was going to be president. I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how they found out. In fact, they went back in time. They were following General George Washington, and they saw him talking to two little boys. They zoomed in with the chronovisor, and they said, "Holy crap, he's talking to Andrew and one of the other boys in the program. We have to send Andy. Zoom in, listen to what they're saying, write it down, and we need to tell him he needs to say this." So that's how they knew they had to send him, because they saw him in the past. Isn't that weird?
That is pretty wild.
And he said that they went forth through the chronovisor, like fourth dimensional chronovisor, and there's a scintillation around their bodies, this kind of like light scintillation. So General George Washington kept asking him, "Are you boys angels?" "No, sir, we're just young boys from your future. We figured out a way how to transverse time, and we came here to tell you to move out tonight, because if you don't, you know, the cause might be lost, and this won't be the greatest country ever, and you will be known as the father of the first president of the country. None of that will happen unless you move out tonight." So, you know, he said, "Did you hear that, Alexander Hamilton? Did you hear that? These boys say they're from the future. Have you ever heard anything so ridiculous?" And he had a thick English accent. I can't do English accents. And he goes, "Oh, that is pretty funny." And Andrew said, "We thought you'd say that, sir. And that's why we brought this, to show you, to prove to you that we're from your future." And it was a hologram, like one of those kind of metallic holograms when you tilt it, it moves. He goes, "Oh my, yes, this is definitely not from our time. I must show this to Ben Franklin." Then he just looked up and he said, "We move out tonight." And they moved out. So, and in his diary, he said angels came to him and told him to move out that night.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah, that is interesting confirmation.
Isn't that wild?
That is wild. Huh. Yeah, I wonder why he named him as angels. Just, I mean, I guess because he obviously knew what was up. I wonder why not. I don't know. Maybe he thought it sounded too crazy to say kids from the future came in, and
yeah,
maybe be too outlandish.
And everyone was calling them angels. "Are you the two angels that told General Washington we had to move out?" "Yeah, we're the two." Because they had this light scintillation around them, so they looked kind of like an angel, I guess. They were kind of glowing. Their outer edge of their bodies were kind of glowing, I think, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Yeah. So many interesting things about his story. And oh, the other thing was when Bernie Mendez was sent back in time to check out the Ford's Theater. First, he checked out the Ford's Theater now, and he measured it all, and he went back in time, and things weren't measuring up. The corners weren't square. They weren't at right angles, and there was some seats missing in the balconies. And when he was on top of the balcony and he jumped off like John Wilkes Booth did, part of the balcony ornamentation broke off in his hand when he jumped. He took that back with him, and it wasn't wood. It was some kind of plastic that had a coating that made it look like wood. So was this what we're talking about, like a hologram that turns solid? Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Isn't that freaky?
That is very odd. I mean, why, how would you ever, I don't know what that would mean. Like, how would you go back in time, but then you end up like not really there, like in some different place? I don't know what that could be.
It's a conundrum, it's like, wow, because Nixon didn't believe they were going back in time. He wanted Bernie Mendez to go and investigate. So they inserted him in the programs, and he was investigating. But and also when they were on Mars, he brought a flare gun. They got a flare gun. I think it was all plastics because they couldn't bring metal or something. And they finally got one to work, and they brought it up to Mars. And Bernie gave it to Barry Soetoro, I think, Barack Obama, and he shot it up in the air on the surface of Mars. It hit the sky and bounced back. So what was that? Was there a dome over where they were? No clue. So many mysteries, but that's what I like about Bernie Mendez's story. I'm working on trying to get him out here too. But he tells similar things to Andrew, but he tells them from a different perspective because he was an adult, and Andrew was a younger guy in the programs. So. So very interesting.
Yeah, it's a mind bender. A lot to contemplate there. I don't have any answers for those.
Yeah, who does, right?
Yeah, it's pretty out of the realm of my daily life.
Yeah. But I think I figured out sort of how the Tesla Vortal teleporter works. Because Andrew said that it looked like this water, like flowing, like a public waterfall thing. And when they jump through it, they create this bubble. And they have to go at a certain speed to create a big enough air bubble, so they could breathe and last the 30 seconds or whatever it is to get to their destination. And so I think it's kind of like blowing an electronic bubble. So they're inside an electronic bubble traveling through space-time. I think that's what it is. Kind of like blowing bubbles.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, electricity and magnetism is pretty fascinating. There's a lot there we don't know. I'm sure somebody knows, but I've always wanted to experiment more on that.
Yeah. I got a book here. It's an old book about astral projection that I got at a used bookstore, and it's got all kinds of footnotes from the scientist who used to have it. All these underlines. So it's very interesting. Like very marked up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's an interesting read. So to get through that, got lots to read here. So yeah. Anything else that you want to say? Maybe we should wrap this up. What do you think?
Sure. I was going to tell you real quick about, I just repaired this microscope.
Oh, yeah?
This laboratory I'm cleaning out quite a while back, like months and months ago. I got some microscopes that they were getting rid of. And anyway, I got this one repaired. It had like a seized up platform where you would put a slide and move it up and down. It had seized up. Anyway, I thought, oh, I'll just wipe it down and clean it. Anyway, I ended up having to start taking it apart, trying to clean further and further into it. Ended up having to take the entire thing apart, like down to the like bearings and the gears and stuff. Anyway, after a few weeks of like soaking it in methanol and heavy cleaning, all the grease had like solidified basically. Anyway, got it all cleaned up, put back together. So now I've got this microscope. It's got four lenses on it, like a real rotator. So anyway,
Sure.
I need to look up, I'm not sure I know how to calculate the magnification on it.
Mhm.
I think it's kind of like the eyepiece times the main lens. If that's right, it's a 10x eyepiece, and it's marked 100. It doesn't say 100x, but 100 lens is the highest. So I
Wow.
think might go up to 1000x magnification if
Wow.
I'm thinking about it right. I need to look it up on the net. Regardless, the thing works.
Neat.
I put and I borrowed some slides and a cover slip. Anyway, I spit on it, or actually I licked it. I licked the slide, put some
Oh no.
saliva on there, and looked at it under
Yeah.
the highest magnification, and I was able to zoom in close enough to actually, I think, see germs.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'll move it around in there, and I'll find you'll just see like a little black dot, or maybe like a little line, if you will, and
Mhm.
they'll be kind of wiggling and like sort of swimming around a little bit. It's kind of
Wow.
cool.
Wow.
And then
Freak.
today I found and actually I'd seen it the time before. I've done it a couple times now, but and you got to get the lighting just right to get enough contrast to actually see stuff.
Mhm.
And the focus is real fine. Like you barely move it one way or the other. You got it because it's such a thin layer that you're trying to look at. But I was able to see this kind of like it was like a little sack, sort of like a maybe dumbbell shaped. And on
Okay.
either end, there's like these little two balls, if you will,
Okay.
sort of like a sack. And then inside of them, there's like a billion of these little black dots, like zipping around, like all wiggling and stuff. Kind of
Whoa.
gross and freaky looking, but
Yeah.
interesting nonetheless. Uh, anyway, I was able to take my cell phone and get and I'll try it again. I'll do it better next time. But I was able, just as a proof of concept, put the cell phone camera to one of the lenses
Mhm.
and kind of move it around where I could get it right on there,
Oh
and
wow.
then adjust the focus where I could actually get a video of this. And it's pretty neat. I think if I do it with a tripod next time, so I can just like set it up, get it all lined up real good,
Yeah.
then I can adjust the focus. And one thing I noticed that was kind of neat was because the cell phone has like an auto adjusting brightness
Mhm.
and focus. Uh, to the human eye, you've got to adjust the light on it. Like the light is actually on its own little gimbal where you can move it up or down to increase or decrease the light. It's not the actual light. The light's got a lens, and then there's this lens to direct the light up through the slide. You can move that up or down to decrease or increase the light. There's also a shutter on that lens, so you can like close the shutter to decrease the light. If you
Mhm.
put full light, you can't see anything. It's all drowned out. But as you decrease the light, you can get it. You can get enough contrast that you can see stuff.
Mhm.
Anywho, the
Wow.
surprisingly the camera um, doesn't isn't affected as much by that. Like as I was moving that lens up or down, even to maximum, it could
Mhm.
still adjust the brightness, and it would still have a good contrast enough to see the picture. Even if I couldn't see it with the human eye through the other lens, I could see it in the camera. So anyway, that was kind of cool. But next time I'm gonna set it up on a tripod into the lens so it's real steady, knowing that the light's not affected too much. I won't have to mess with that. I can get a real good focus. And I also realized before I start recording, if I zoom in the camera, because the camera I think goes up to maybe an 8x digital zoom, I'll be able to digitally zoom in and get even more magnification.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll be able to zoom in on one of those little pods or whatever it was, and be able to see all the little dots zooming around much better. So that'll be cool. I'm gonna take some video of that, make some little clips of it. I'll send you some little, like, I don't know, 10 or 15 second clips, video clips
Okay.
of what I presume are germs. And I presume they're symbiotic or non-harmful. Either that or I'm gonna drop dead tonight. But I'm feeling pretty good. So I don't think it'll be a problem.
Well, I hope that you don't drop dead. I mean, my goodness, that would be terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it looks monstrous under the thing, but then I realized that I've probably been living with this stuff for my entire life, so I'll probably be okay. Anyway, I'll send you a couple of clips of that, or I'll put it on my Gab page. I'll probably put a clip or two on the Gab page, so it'll be fun.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah,
Looking forward
I might,
to that.
yeah, I might try some pond water too. I think there'd be a lot of interesting stuff in there.
Yeah, pond water.
Yeah, I know that one guy, oh boy, now his name slips my mind. Not Craig Mason. Oh boy, I can't quite.
Whoa.
No, it's
Joey Mormon.
Joey Mormon. Yeah, he does a lot of
he does that germs. Yeah, that's great. I love that when he does that. So yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Optics are cool. They're fun.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, I don't catch him too often. But I have seen some of his microscope stuff. It's pretty cool. Oh, I think he dropped off for a second. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there was a guy there who had this show called Got My Own Show by TV's, what was it? His name? Bob Connolly. From TV's Bob Connolly. But he was only TV's Bob Connolly because he had his own show on cable access. And he did some funny stuff, but I don't know, man. I think I've told this before on the air, but it was so funny. He said, today we're going to do phone fun. That's where we have fun with the phone. So he calls up this country kitchen. He says, hey, yeah, this is the other country kitchen on the other side of town. Say, we're out of eggs. Do you have any extra eggs? Oh, yeah, we got a case of eggs. We'll put them out back for you. Okay, well, send a guy to pick them up. He goes, we got a case of eggs. We're going to make omelets.
Oh, boy. More like phone mayhem.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of dastardly, but it was incredibly funny. Extremely funny. And one time he called up this guy. We're going to do phone fun again. Okay, we're going to call up this guy. It was a room for rent, like an apartment. And he calls up this guy and he says, I'm calling about the apartment for rent. He goes, yeah. He goes, how big is that? Oh, it's a studio. Well, I would have 6 of my friends living with me. Is that okay? No, I don't see any problem with that. And he goes, that was the wrong answer. I'm not really calling about the room. I'm your boss and you're fired.
Oh, no.
And he hung up. He goes, I just fired a dude.
Feels good.
Oh, man, that's kind of rough. That's kind of rough, man. I hope he called the guy back and said, hey, man, you're not really fired. But yeah. So Joey Mormon reminds me kind of that. He's got that kind of humor. Not quite that kind of humor, but just reminds me of cable access, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was another guy in Minneapolis. His name was Dr. Schfinkter. He was a cable access guy. Yeah, he wasn't very good. You can imagine.
Dr. Schfinkter. It's not much worse than a lot of the internet handles you see on the different chats. There's some pretty wild ones.
There are some wild ones, but yeah, I liked cable access. It was a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun. and it was exciting. You know, we had one of our shows, we had it shopped around to all the other cable access channels, and we had a viewership of up to 3 million people on our XTV, Extreme Television, Minnesota's only music video showcase, where it was like, we did a show, it was like MTV, we call it XTV, Extreme Television, where we just have a VJ and he'd fade in and out, and we had screaming graphics behind him, and then we play videos of Minnesota artists. You know,
Oh, that's cool.
it was great. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's not mainstream stuff, but like local artists. That's pretty nice.
Okay, our cloaked unseen world is asking who's on the phone. That's Dark Brain, our good friend Dark Brain, one of our fabulous mods. So he's doing a good job. And I think you should have a show someday. You should look into that.
I'll think about it. I don't know if I'd be able to do a regular schedule. I'd probably have to hide my face, or maybe do a graphic like Anka Vanka does, have a Kermit the Frog dancing or whatever.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah, it might be neat to do I don't know how I'd do a live. I guess you can get on Twitch and do a live. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah. And Rumble goes live too. My Rumbles won't work now. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's the operating system. But it doesn't work.
I don't know. Rumble seems like it does pretty good. I watch Truth and Art TV every night, and
yeah,
I'm sometimes over here with Sapo, and we usually have to play Rumble on live, and it's got a little bit better reception. And then the other, I'm usually on the D Live chat, but man, D Live does not want to load for me. It's so poor.
Really?
Every once in a while, I'll get a good day where it loads real good, and then most other days, probably my phone service is maybe not even D Live, but
okay.
the Rumble seems to come through a little better. Twitch comes through even better. Foxhole is spotty. Sometimes it works all right, and other times it's pretty choppy as well. And of course, YouTube has the best like, I guess, compression or something, so it always streams pretty well.
Yeah. But did you see, quite frankly's TV? He's got a network on Foxhole now that he has some nights.
Yeah, I haven't visited the thing yet. I mean, I watch his show pretty often. I usually watch on Twitch, and I heard him advertising that he's got, quite frankly, TV on the net, but then it's powered by Foxhole, and I guess he's got kind of all the streams all in one, and he's got the chat right there on the thing. That's pretty neat. Cool idea.
Yeah, he's pretty ambitious. He really wants to have a network, and he's been doing this for like 10 years.
Yeah,
so he's really been at it. So he's good. I like him.
He is good. He's got a very refined system, I guess you might say. He's not a real refined guy, but his presence, I guess, he's got his show in order, all his ducks in a row, and
yeah, he works hard. He's a hard worker, and he does a great job. And you know, he gets good guests on there, and he's got his intermissions are interesting too.
They are.
I like that one time when they had that big fat guy in a Speedo doing that dance. That was funny.
That was fun. I actually quite liked that. I mean, I don't mind the oogly booglies that he puts on there all the other times, but yeah, the fat guy is like, damn, this guy can dance.
Yeah,
got some moves.
Even the girls, I mean, it's done so fast that it's humorous. It's not anything but humorous. It looks humorous because it's so fast. And I love the dogs are getting restless. I guess I got to go bring them outside.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So yeah, he's good. Frank is great. He's got a great show. And
he is. He's got kind of a retro feel. Like, I think he's really trying to go for that old school, like AM radio.
Oh yeah. Nostalgia.
Kind of a classic
he's got
mood.
That old music at the end.
Yeah.
Quite Frank was filming for a live studio audience, and it's just so nice. And he's got the black and white pictures of those old fashioned cars, and it's so nice and homey. It's very comfy. It's a comfy little spot that he's carved out for people there.
Yeah, it is homey, and it kind of offsets the rant. So he goes into some pretty I won't say filthy, but he busts some people's chops for sure. Doesn't hold any punches.
Yeah. If someone doesn't pick up the phone right away, he's on to the next person. He's not going to wait.
Yeah, he's got that pretty honed down too. Like he'll just tell them straight up, sorry, your feed's not good, I can't hardly hear you, bye, click on to the next one. You gotta be online and ready to roll with that guy.
And he had Amazing Polly on twice. And that's the only show she's ever been on other than her own.
Is it really? Yeah, she does good on that show. Yeah, those are always very interesting interviews.
She's great, man. I really think she does a knockout job.
She does.
She's fun to watch. Yeah. Well, I think we're gonna put a cork in it, fella. Hello, Celestial Soul. Good to see you and everybody else. Kiss baby. And all that stuff. And it looks like everybody's talking nice and comfy. Everyone's wondering who the guest is. It's Dark Brain. It's our wonderful all-star mod, Dark Brain. Best in the business. Best in the business. And look for his show coming up. I predict it'll be a big hit.
We'll see. I'll see if I can get some material together.
Well, maybe
go ahead.
We could both use our time machines to go into the future and see how that show is going to be.
All right. I'm down for the journey. Hey, let me give shout outs to the chat real quick. Like Austin, he's always great. He does great call-ins, man. It's fascinating stuff. Oh, he knows so much about like space program and like all this old minutia of some of these things. Like, man, he's really dug into it. It's like more than I could spend hours on the net looking for this, and he's already got it condensed. It's really, really quite great. Of course, Maxwell, he's a wealth of knowledge, very interesting guy. I like that he calls in so often. That's a treat.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
And then the chatters we got like Kelly George, prayers for her, and she's a sweet soul. Mud Rabbit, of course, the king of mods over here. Love her. And I just learned that she's a master craftsman as well, which was pretty fascinating.
Who is?
Mud Rabbit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's I guess does a lot of textile work. She can do amazing sewing and beadwork, and she does I can't remember the name of it, but it's like Japanese dyeing of silks. I guess her mother had a shop, I should say, not a factory, but like an artist's shop for years, and she worked there with her, and so learned directly from another craftsman. And she was going into some detail about the stuff she did, and it sounded pretty fascinating. Very, very hard stuff to do, and lifetime of practice at it. So yeah, pretty neat. She's quite a gal. Very cool. And then also prayers for Ralph Gutierrez. I know he's getting better and better, and he's a pretty neat guy too.
Yes, he is. I'm always praying for him too. Yes. And praying does work, folks. Just in case you don't think it does, it does. It does work. And when many people pray together, it works even better. I believe that. It's a real thing, It's like I've said before, when I started this quest many years ago, back in the 80s, I was a scientific evolutionist and didn't believe in spirituality or anything like that. And boy, after I left my body in '84, that really knocked me around and made me realize that wow, this is a real thing, you know. So the path we travel on, we're going a certain direction. There might be a road that we turn down that we're not anticipating that ends up having the answers we didn't expect. You know, it's just amazing. So I feel that I feel like I'm a very spiritual person, which I never would have said or thought before. It just it's amazing what happens. You know, it's amazing.
It sure is.
Yeah. So let's pray for everyone who needs praying. And anyone else need a shout out? Let's see. Kelly George, Q Trendsetter.
Oh yeah, cute trendsetter. He's a pretty neat dude.
Yeah,
And
that's a
also,
great name too.
also my buddy Peggy Dancer. She came over from Zoso. Although she probably beat me here by months or years, but either way. And Becky and Jerry, old Jerry Lahane. He's a cool guy. Jacob Waters. I don't know if he's out there. And it was neat having a Laura pop by the other night. That was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That's a cool name, Alara. It's a really pretty name. It is. Plus, she got 3 A's. I only have 2 A's in my name.
Hell, they are. Yeah. 38s.
3 A's. Yeah, boy, I was so excited when I first started school because the teacher said, "Okay, we're going to line up at the door alphabetically." I thought, yes, Aaron, I will be first. Oh, we're going by last names. What?
You're
So,
right in the middle.
but I fixed that because when I was a teacher at a daycare, there was a little 4-year-old kid in my class, little Aaron. We called him Little Aaron. I was called Big Aaron. And so I would always say, "All right, we're going to line up at the door alphabetically by first names." And little Aaron got to be first. So I fixed it. It took me my whole life, but I finally fixed it. Yeah. So
that's pretty cute.
Yeah, true story too. Well, thank you so much, Dark Brain. I really appreciate you calling in. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and I look forward to the next time that we can do this. And so thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much. It was a real pleasure, and I'll try to get over here a lot more sooner than I did last time. So
no
yeah,
worries. Whenever you come, you come. You're always welcome, no matter when you come. And I understand you have to drive sometimes. That's fine. I think Mud Rabbit can do good. If there's anyone else that you want to who's around a lot, who you want to elevate up to another mod, let me know, and I'll put them onto the mod people. Or I don't know if you guys can do that too. I'm not sure.
I don't think so, but I'll ask around, see if somebody's wanting to give it a shot. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Great. But you guys do a great job. I'm like every day I wake up, I go, wow, I got mods. This is so. How did this happen? Like, wow, I must have done something good in my life because I got mods. That's just so cool. So thank you. You don't know how much you are appreciated. So you are.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure for sure.
Thank you, sir. And with that, I think we're going to wrap this baby up. I want to thank everyone who stopped by. Remember to keep your cameras ready, keep your phone ready to take that picture of that UFO so you can come on to the Truth Quest and tell us all about it, and we get this disclosure thing going. Until then, peace in.